When it comes to The Sopranos and organized crime in general, women are often viewed as mere bystanders or witnesses. Some may call them enablers. The truth is, they often weren't just witnesses, but sometimes the architect. Let's get right to it.
Dean called today.
Well, that can't be good.
Tony Soprano may have run North Jersey, but that doesn't mean he's immune from a shakedown. Like when Carmela and those Morningside Heights gangsters got $50,000 from him when Tony originally only said he'd give $5K.
Why don't go to 10? That should be enough for those Morningside Heights gangsters.
I already told him 50. And, it's better to act quickly if, more is lost by indecision than by wrong decision. That's all I'm saying.
But more important than the particular decision is that it happened in a timely fashion.
It turns out there is a lot for sale over on Crestview, a little over an acre. I was thinking I could build a spec house.
How much is the lot?
$600,000.
Look, you guys, I know what I did was not okay. I've been thinking about it a lot and really not feeling good about myself, okay? And I think you should take away my Discover card.
You better believe it.
That's right.
For 2 weeks.
3.
Meadow Soprano. Tony tells Meadow, "You're all me. Nothing gets by you." When it comes to getting her parents to think they're punishing her, Meadow's quite the master manipulator.
Let's just not overplay our hand, because if she finds out we're powerless, we're fucked.
I need $15.
Excuse me?
A Cole Porter CD. It's for Madrigals. We're doing 3 of his songs.
Dr. Melfi helped Tony, though maybe in more ways than she intended. A couple examples. When she gives Tony the idea to give Junior the big seat so he can have the illusion of being in control.
You have children, you know what they're like. You know that sometimes it's important to let them have the illusion of being in control.
Tell me why this was a smart move, to make Junior the big Willie.
Look at her. She's content. Thinks he's the king of kings. Truth is, every decision is made by me.
Yeah, only now we got a brand new lightning rod on top to take the hits. Smart.
Along with her directness with Tony when telling him to drop the sentimentality mode with his cousin Tony B.
It's just that it doesn't matter now.
It's just that here we are, as always, back at square one, with you going into high sentimentality mode.
Sentimentality mode? We were children together. It's my mess. All my choices were wrong.
I suppose he would have found it harder to have his meetings at my house than in this nursing home.
We all know what they say. If she'd have been born after those feminists, she would have been the real gangster. Livia Soprano, mother of Tony, Janice, and Barbara, and the mastermind behind the first assassination attempt on Tony in season 1.
What are you talking about, meetings?
Don't think I'll ever see any of that money either.
Johnny Sack? Johnny Sack was here?
With his mohair suits and his shoe lifts.
Suits? Pleurisy?
Wait a minute. I don't like that kind of talk. Now just stop it. It upsets me.
And by it upsets her, she means it's exactly the thought that she hoped Junior would have come to his mind.
I mean, I'm the boss, for Christ's sake. If I don't act, blood or no...
But not just Tony. As we know, even the tough Johnny Boy Soprano couldn't stand up to Livia.
He ran his own crew. Guy like that, and my mother wore him down to a little nub.
After Rocco gets the book up, he's gonna open a new supper club. He wants me to run it.
A supper club? Are you drunk?
Though I will say that, as we know, the farther we get through the series, the more we learn that these narratives Tony has aren't necessarily completely accurate, for what that's worth.
He was a squeaking little gerbil when he died.
Quite a formidable maternal presence.
In a very direct sense, with her husband in prison for life and all of her brothers either dead or in prison, she's the boss. Tony says it would never happen in the States. Never. But I think even Furio doubts the truth in that.
I will talk on the side to the ear of Annalisa.
What the fuck is that gonna do?
You can talk to me.
A fucking woman boss?
So what do you want?
Never happened in the States. Never.
Our men kill each other. Or they go to prison. Rome has a war against us. But our men are in love to their mama, huh?
I stood by Junior, trying to prove I'm a good guy. My mother couldn't hate a good boy like that.
So obeying a woman is not, come si dice, comes natural.
You go around like your father's nursemaid.
I am my father's nursemaid.
You mean to tell me that Annalisa can have the responsibilities of leading a family and she can also be her father's nursemaid? Reminds me of a lot of women who do a lot of unpaid caregiving. That doesn't mean that they get recognized for it.
A woman boss.
In America, you don't have?
What?
Bobby's heartbroken and grieving his wife, who he'd recently lost in a tragic car accident. The last thing he wants to do right now is favors for Junior. When Janice learns that Bobby owes Junior something, she's going to make sure that Bobby does what he needs to do, grieving or not. And Bobby ends up doing an amazing job getting his point across to the union worker. I guess Junior has Janice to thank for that, not that he would.
Well, listen to me. I know my uncle. He's a patient man. But he's at the point that if you don't do your job, he'll find somebody who will. You know what I'm talking about? All your effort, all the years you put in getting your ticket punched, you'll be a nobody. So you're going to get up tomorrow morning, and you're going to get dressed, and you're going to get in that car, and you're going to do what needs to be done, aren't you?
It's just that I follow these things, you know, this election coming up. Dick Hoffman for president. Just saying, if it was me, I got kids that depend on me, like yourself. And to waste my votes on somebody like Dick Hoffman, I might as well put a bullet in my head. Here, here, and here.
And as for the other New Jersey boss at the time, Janice has a great formula for getting him to kick up to her for inside information about his own captains, like Ralph.
$3,000.
How'd you come up with that figure?
It's a number that I thought you'd say yes to.
You thought right.
You don't ever admit the existence of this thing, ever, unless you're facing prison for the rest of your life and you have a wife and 2 daughters you love and cherish more than anything. We saw what Johnny was willing to do when he felt his wife had been dishonored, and at the risk of not being able to be with her freely ever again, he admitted the existence of La Cosa Nostra. While Ginny may not have intentionally been behind John's decisions, we know that she was at the center of it all.
You're a young man. In 15 years, you'll be 67. The golden years.
Do I have to do the allocution?
You know the allocution is always part of it. Practically the whole point.
I'll take it.
I'll take him to the Korean on my way to church tomorrow. I got a meeting of concerned Catholic mothers. Tell you the truth, I almost want to not go to the meeting.
Here we go.
A gay in our own family.
Phil Leotardo made such a big deal about finding Vito and taking care of him. But was it really Phil who was behind all of that? In fact, it was Patty Leotardo, his wife, who really pulled the strings.
Father told me Vito doesn't renounce that lifestyle. He's damned.
I know.
What?
I know.
Father put it so well last week. There's nothing gay about hell, he said.
When you think of how intense Phil acts around Tony when it comes to finding Vito, he seems awfully subdued, nonchalant in his conversation with Patty. You'd think he'd be even more fired up considering that he was in the company of other people who didn't like that lifestyle.
That's good. I'm sure he didn't come up with that himself.
One thing I do know. Vito has to be made to face his problems squarely.
I hear you, Tony, and I'm flattered. But boss, I don't think so. Especially now that Doc has cemented his position.
And then there are some women like Nicole, the wife of Little Carmine, who convinces him not to be the boss before he takes the top spot. This is while he's at war with Johnny Sack, so this couldn't come at a worse time, her asking him to quit. But he did. He saw the bigger picture.
One night during all that fighting with John, Nicole comes up with the drink. She says, "Darling, I think it's time you took a rest. I don't want to be the wealthiest widow on Long Island. I want you to quit. Now." I'm not ashamed to say that she made me cry. That wonderful, loving woman.
In the interest of putting this shit to bed, Carmine misses his Violet. This is a dream, of course. When Tony sees Carmine in the test dream, Carmine tells him that he's all alone on the other side and that he misses his Violet. She was everything to him. Not money, not power, not status, but his wife. That's who he misses. And when you think about it, who was with Carmine Sr. by his side for all those years that he was boss? I think it's safe to say that Violet was the rock behind his decades of powerful leadership.
I'm so lonely. I miss my Violet.
Oh, Violet.
Violet, my wife. She was everything to me. I'm all alone on the other side. It ain't right.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd love to hear from you.